Hey, welcome back. On my way home, I'm Miss Mandy, and I wanted to do this really quick video about something I've been hearing a lot about recently. It seems like everybody I follow on YouTube has made a video about this word, recession. And I wanted to add my thoughts to the mix because I think it's something that we need to talk about, and not in the same way that everybody else is talking about it. So let's just start with the basics. Markets have cycles. There's up cycles, there's down cycles. Just like you have good and bad days. You have, maybe 1 week you're up, maybe 1 week it's not so good. Maybe, there's a few days where you do really well, you're really productive at work, and then there's a day or two where you're not as productive. We all have our cycles, and the market is no different. The housing market, the stock market, they all have cycles. Well, what everybody's worried about right now is the word recession. And that doesn't sound like a good thing, right? Because when we think of recession, it sounds a lot like depression. And then we think about what we learned in school about the Great Depression, about people standing in bread lines because they couldn't afford to eat, people being out of jobs en masse, people being panicked and pulling their money out of the stock market, causing a big chain reaction and a huge slowdown in the American economy at that time. Well, that doesn't sound like a great thing, right? So why would a recession be any different? And then the other word you hear cohesively with recession is crash. And that doesn't sound like a good thing either. Nothing ever good comes out of a crash, right? So you've got a lot of negative gut feelings about these words, and people are just throwing them around right now, not making things better because they're adding a lot of emotion into money decisions. And I've said before, what you do with your money when you're investing should not be hugely emotional. It should be based a lot on knowledge. It should be based a lot on what you're comfortable with risk-wise, but it should not be hugely emotional. Like you should not be making investment decisions based on a need that you have. Does that make sense? I feel like I need to explain that more. So if I was to make an emotional decision with my money, I would buy my parents a house because I love them and I want them to, have a home. Well, that is purely an emotional decision if I don't think anything else about it. But if I actually crunch the numbers and find, oh yeah, I can't really afford a second mortgage, that would be a huge mistake, right? So that's what happens when you make decisions based solely off of emotion. I'm not saying emotion can't be part of your decision, because in some form, emotion has to be a factor, because emotion, kind of charters what you are comfortable with doing with your money. But what is happening now is there's a lot of negative emotion being thrown around with these words, recession and crash, and I don't think that's good. Now, what do I think about it, though? I do think that it is inevitable that we have some sort of economic slowdown from the point that we were at. I mean, we went through a pandemic and propped up the economy. We have seen the housing market go up as it never has before. And at some point, all of those things that are on the very high end have to come down. And we know the factors that are going into those coming down have already begun, like raising interest rates. So I think it's inevitable that we will see a slowdown of some kind. I just don't think it's going to be quite as dramatic as everybody makes it out to be. I do think it's powerful that you know that it's coming. You don't have to know when it's coming. And in fact, that's the next point, is that you probably shouldn't try to time the market, because it's sort of impossible. There's too many moving factors. There's too many things going on in this world. There's, right now there's a conflict in Ukraine. Nobody saw that coming. Whoever saw the pandemic coming? In January of 2020, if you asked anybody if they would be staying home for the rest of that year, they would have said, heck no. But here we are 2 years later, and people are still working from home, right? So I don't think you can see everything that might factor into an economic slowdown. So I don't think you should try to time it. Well, if you can't try to time it, what should you do instead? The thing that I would suggest, and I'm not a financial advisor, so you have to decide what's best for you, but what I am doing is just investing for cash flow. And that would be my goal, whether the economy was up, whether it was down. The only thing that is affected with the economy going down is that there's more buying opportunity. So Warren Buffett, one of the biggest investors in the stock market of all time and one of the most successful, has said that, you kind of pile cash when the market is high, because there's not a lot of good deals out there. You don't want to buy something that's overpriced. But when the market takes a downturn, when it slows down, that's where your buying opportunities tend to pop up, because a lot of companies will be undervalued. And we're talking in terms of stock market, but this works for housing markets too. So right now, if you're looking to invest, and I've been keeping an eye on the market for the last couple years, and I've seen how the prices have risen, and I've seen how the demand has gone up. And if you wanted to invest right now, you would be very hard pressed to find a good deal, because housing is in such high demand. But if there was an economic slowdown to the point where more people were, reconsidering buying, or interest rates were to raise to a point that people could not afford homes as easily as they could before interest rates went up, then you might see a slowdown in the demand. You might see a few more houses on the market. You might see houses stay on the market for even longer. And that is a better opportunity to invest, because while other people are, becoming part of that less demand, you are taking the opportunity to sift through more deals than were available before. All right. So what else can you do? Well, you can get your financial house in order. And I think that's really the important first step. Sorry, this video is a little bit out of order. I'm a little flustered on my way home because I'm almost there and I'm not done yet. But you can get your financial house in order. I think that might be the first step, is to get educated. And if you're not there yet, if you're not to the investing portion, that really is the first step you should take. Get educated, learn how to put your financial house in order, learn what your goals are, then start to take action by, stop the money leaks, stop tipping the IRS, restructure your loans right now before interest rates go way up. If you have a loan that should be restructured, call your bills and get them lowered if you can. If you've got recurring bills that could be lowered, and you've just never questioned it, all you can do is ask. Be nice. Ask if that's something that you think is worth your time, then do it. And then start investing in cash flow. So just a few final thoughts, because I'm almost home. Recession I don't think is going to be as bad as everybody is making it out to be. I think it'll be a slowdown. I don't think it'll be awful. I don't think we'll be standing in bread lines. I think it is inevitable. And I don't think you can really time it. I think the best thing you can do is start taking actions now to increase your cash flow. And then when the opportunity comes, you'll have the cash available to make those calls. That's all I got for now, and I'm pulling into my driveway, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button to help out my channel, send this to other viewers, and if you would, leave a comment down below on what you are doing right now to increase your cash flow. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.